Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Geek Pride's Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition campaign, The Legend of Our Sacrifice. With us tonight, and by the way, apologies if you're hearing any humming in the background, I'm not doing anything, it's a computer doing stupid things. Anyway, so with me tonight we have Michael as Tharval Eldon.
Good evening.
We have oh, Arno's not here, so Arno's not here. We have Jace as Brother Gaiden.
Good evening.
We have Lecky as Bartholomew Pringle.
Hello.
We have Marcus Lance.
Hola.
And we have Vic as Saren Sanguine.
Hello, hello, hello.
Right, okay, let's get this out of the way. Let's do that. Right, so let me stick on some music. So
The hills are alive.
With the
Sorry, you said the sound
sound.
of music.
we're gonna sit
It triggered me.
on some Druid Grove. Right, Grove. Okay, so for those who weren't with us, it would have been pre-Christmas. I think that was pre-Christmas and New Year. We haven't done one this year, have we?
No.
All right, Happy New Year then, everybody.
Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Year, everyone.
Yeah. So long and short of it is, the party has made their way to the Somnian Enclave. They have managed to get through the puzzle, which was totally not broken, and it wasn't my fault. And they got across the bridge without setting off any guards. They've made their way into where the portal is. The portal itself was protected by some magic, but it was dispelled, and they have gone through said portal. As they've walked through the portal, and let me just describe. You see in front of you it's a large, sort of beautiful garden surrounded with flowers and trees. Tharval and Saren, you'll probably recognize the tree in the center. It's an I can't even probably say it. I bloody made the word Alphusis tree. That's it. It's an Alphusis tree, which is obviously quite a sacred tree to your peoples. And to be fair, the main sort of the tree, the main tree of life in the center of Freya is an Alphusis tree. And it is sort of kind of, culturally you believe that its roots go run throughout Freya, and it's where it gets a lot of its magic and where it gets a lot of its, what's where all the life and stuff comes from. Its center of below the tree, you see a lady sort of meditating beside the tree. Now, Bertha, I just need some stuff written out. Get it on tree. Yeah, okay. So, as your footsteps weave through the enchanted dream gardens of the Somnian Enclave, you notice a figure seated near the heart of the garden, bathed in the gentle glow of the Alphusis tree. The air seems to carry a serene harmony, and you approach the rhythmic hum of a distant melody embracing the surroundings. You see a lady sat beneath the tree meditating. In her hands, her hair is the color of twilight, cascading down her shoulders, and a delicate silver circlet rests upon her forehead. Her eyes, deep pools of wisdom, remain closed in serene meditation. Around her, luminescent dream symbols intertwine with the surrounding flora, creating an overworldly tapestry that seems to respond to your very breath. In her hand, she cradles an ancient tome, bound in celestial leather. Pages flutter gently as they animated by the soft breeze, revealing writings that seem to pulse with a subtle glow. The melody emanating from the Alphissus tree harmonizes with the gentle rhythm of the of her heartbeat. And that's it. That's what you see. Go forth,
So
do your
pretty.
thing.
I take it we all step through one after the other until the whole party's there.
Mm.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Gadden, after having stepped through the portal, sort of looks back at first and then forward, as if feeling like this is a bit of a deja vu. He feels like it's happened to him before, but not quite. And as he does, he wants to take a scope of his surroundings and see if it's anything that kind of like jostles his memory. And I think I'd like to roll for history to see, or religion actually, probably better, to see if there's like an otherworldly tether to this place that makes it that makes sense. Because he thinks that they're still in the Somnian Enclave, but there's also something that tells him that this is well beyond a different plane of existence.
Yep, okay. Roll me a history check.
Actually, I'm gonna go religion if that's okay.
Okay, roll me original now.
Religion. I'm off it. Really? I'm a cleric with shit religion. Let's go.
12, yeah.
So-
There's nothing. You can roll me again, obviously. No, because it's going to be the first one yet. So, yeah, don't. There's nothing like there's probably something in the back of your brain, that the back of your mind, that sort of like you said, feels familiar. You know, there's something about this that sort of, to you personally, has some sort of what's the word I'm for?
Nostalgia.
Yeah, it's nostalgia.
remember-
I'd say so.
Familiar.
Yeah, it's familiar. You know,
Yeah.
there's something there. You just can't quite put your finger on it.
Is it gone?
That's
I was
going
gonna
back.
say.
Yep. Sorry.
Lost you.
Yeah, mine. Does everybody else just freeze there as well?
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
it locked up for like
Okay.
a second, but I missed like.
Okay, we're back. We're back. Okay, so so you've got the garden. You've got a lady, sitting under a tree.
Lady Garden.
You've got a lady garden.
Or is a lady garden with the tulips and the flowers? So Gadden's just gonna be reverent of the whole scenario and wait for the others to see if they want to pipe up and do something. In
Barty
particular,
sort of
looks like
like-
Lance.
Barty whispers to like the rest of the crew. I mean, it's like, it is possible we have passed the threshold. We could be in the Astral Observatory, Gardens of Dreams. There was it was written that there'd be like reflecting pools and pleasant surrounds.
I'm glad
It's gonna
somebody-
be that someone's messing with us again, but I'm just
Oh.
cynical that way.
No, I think Bartholomew is correct in this instance, because I think I vaguely remember something like this in the descriptions when we were reading upon whatever it was we were reading in the library pond. So this feels like it ticks a box.
By the way, somebody's going to have to sort of RP Arno, because he's kind of important, because he's holding he's got the artifact and stuff. So somebody's going to have to sort of decide what he's going to do on things and stuff. So
Who's going to be
Roll it.
suspicious of everybody?
yeah, suspicious of everybody.
Suspicious of
Don't
everyone.
be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Saren would share his suspicion at this point.
I was gonna say, because we can roll it out to see who's going to play Arno.
Well, we can sort of basically
Let's just
either
do
any of you
that
can
one.
sort of pipe up, I guess, and and if
Yeah.
I feel like that's what he would do, I've got a pretty good grasp on how he is. So if I feel like
Yeah.
that's what he would do, then I'll just sort of do it. If not, I'll counter it. But
Yeah.
Okay.
Arno disappears.
Hey. No, he will
So
wait to the very
Arno
far
runs
back.
away.
He's running away and buckering.
Uh,
Arno disappears up his own ring. Sorry.
Yeah.
oh God! I
Nearly got Vic then. Nearly.
Okay, so is
more
anybody else
seconds.
is anybody else doing anything or saying anything, or sort of you just standing there gawping at this whole thing?
Uh,
We approach, we gamble that this is a friendly creature.
or we do this, and he just steps forward, brash that he is.
I face
Well,
palm
So what I was going to do
because he's
is
going to get us in trouble again.
he's going to do a perception check.
Okay.
Checking for traps.
In a garden. Of grace.
Jungle garden.
Just
Oh.
because it looks like a garden doesn't mean it is a garden. Have we known nothing?
Okay.
Oi!
Anything pretty can be deadly.
You obviously as soon as you come through, as soon as you and Saravel come through the portal, you both automatically scan every sort of every leaf, every sort of blade of grass for sort of any sort of potential hazards. You notice you notice that the tree in front of you is Elphusis tree. You notice nothing of you don't see any issues around you. You do sort of notice that within the tree, the roots seem to be intertwined with the lady underneath it. They're not sort of holding or restrained it, but seem to be sort of kind of forming sort of bracelets and van braces on her legs. The tree itself is as it's sort of pictured as you can see it here, but you do notice a hint of sort of black within some of the leaves. They're very faint. There's not many of them, but there is sort of you know yourself from the Elphusis tree that it blooms all year round, and that it is always this sort of kind of bright, vibrant color, and therefore this sort of discoloration is slightly odd.
Okay.
I'm assuming that Tharavel would share that with the rest of the party.
Nope. Yes, of course.
It's happy if he doesn't.
If he doesn't, then
I
everyone
actually, it's one of those things I forget about and just think, yeah, everybody can see what we're seeing. But yeah, so Tharavel sort of, obviously as it was said, that he's well known of the Alphusis tree. I think there's one very similar to it from his home village above the waterfalls, so he knows what they look like. So he sort of other than everything else seems fine, he sort of expresses his concerns at the discoloration of the tree, as he's never seen something like that with this tree before.
I'd assume then, and that means that there is a mark of corruption somewhere. In which case, gulping at the tree doesn't necessarily help us. We should ask questions to the lady.
I turn to you and indicate towards the lady and say, by all means, as the one that is experienced with the religious and deity side of things.
Well, I think somehow along the way, whilst I do speak to the gods, I feel like other people here are a little bit more qualified than I am. But sure, why not? And just kind of just strides on forward.
I watch him and I'm stood there like this. Like, he's going to get us killed. He's going to get us killed.
Cautiously, he takes a couple of steps towards the tree, the base of the tree that is, and approaches the lady, looking at the tome with the glowing letters. And he waits patiently first.
Okay.
Seeing if she notices him.
Okay. As you step closer, the air sort of seems to carry a serene harmony. Sort of as you walk, it sort of seems to play along with you as you sort of walk forward. There's a rhythmic hum and a distant melody embraces the surroundings. As you approach Dairila, her eyes flutter open, revealing orbs that reflect the constellations of the night sky. Her gaze, both kind and knowing, meets yours. A serene smile graces her lips as she acknowledges your presence. Greeting, traveler. I am Direlia, guardian of the Veil. The whispers of the Somnian Enclave have led you to me. What brings you to this sacred realm, seeker of dreams? Her voice carries a melodic resonance, echoing the very harmony of the Dream Gardens.
A bit haunted, looking at the eyes, seeing the stars, and feeling a bitter loneliness, as if homesick.
Direlia gestures for you to join her beneath the Alphusis tree. With her, with the air seems to shimmer with the ethereal energy.
Oh no! Unwittingly, his body moves forward before his heart and his mind can actually comprehend what's being asked of him, and suddenly he finds himself next to the lady. He whispers. He's speaking it very quietly and respectfully at this point, and he says, "My name is Gadden. No, I can't do this." And he whispers to her, and he says, and I'm gonna whisper this to you, Matt, because then it adds to the whole thing. But he, how am I gonna best? Yeah, actually, is it whisper DM, right?
Yeah, or just
well, that's what I tried doing, but then
just send it to me. Just send it to me on.
That's what I tried doing, and it
WhatsApp
ended up sending the whole thing in.
Yeah, just send it to me on WhatsApp or something.
Yeah. I think so. And then afterwards, he looks back sheepishly because he's like enamored by her eyes and the stars, and it makes him feel very homesick.
She looks at you, and that sort of bright, sort of welcoming smile, sort of makes you feel at ease. You hear within your sort of mind's eye, or sort of your mind's ear, even, sorry, her saying your secret is safe, and she says, "Welcome, Brother Gadden. What brings you here?"
We'll get to the point, I think. And he just looks at Barty, and he's like, sort of like getting an indication of whether he should open his mouth and blurt the reason, or do they take it slow. He's kind of just like,
would Arno say anything at this moment in time, or would he be suspiciously sort of kind of waiting?
He would wait. I don't think he wants to say anything and reveal any of his cards until he knows for certain.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
to play it close to his heart.
By the way, Matt, all of our pictures have gone.
Oh shit!
Askew.
Then go. There we go.
This is why you ask us to do WhatsApp. I click. Get it now. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm the disruptive bastard here.
Blame him. There you
go. Yeah, but I would say that Arno does not reveal anything yet. He's incredibly suspicious. He doesn't even know or trust this woman yet. And that he would wait to see if there's a bit more substance to what they're saying. If anything, I don't know whether he wants to roll an insight check or not.
Has anybody got access to his cheat?
No.
Well, let me see if I can get you access to. Everybody give it access. So does anybody else want to do anything while I do that? I'll do his insight check and then give you access if anybody else wants to do anything else.
Tharavel sort of over and he's just sort of in awe of the beauty and the sort of magnitude of the tree. And he's sort of looking up and down its roots, and then he sort of gently holds his hand out, to sort of press his hand against the trunk of the tree.
As you sort of place your hand on the tree, you just feel it. It's sort of it's not a sudden feeling, but you just get like the warmth and the nostalgia and this feeling of being home sort of just starts to sort of grow through you. You feel warm, so you feel a feeling you've not felt for a very long time. You feel sort of you feel like you're back in your village, and you feel happy, like you know, like true happiness for you've had it for a long time. Diaurelia, she sort of kind of looks at you and she smiles and she sort of pats the ground beside her, for you to sit.
Tharball sort of like he almost sort of inhales the feeling. He sort of like takes a sort of big deep breath as he's got his hand on the tree, almost to sort of like breathe it in and keep it in him for a bit, and then he sort of takes his hand off the tree, and goes and perches himself beside Diaurelia.
Okay. Say all players and journals, and then I will go. All players should be able to now do things with Arno. Way. So what were we doing with an insight check for him? Were we?
Yes, we're doing an insight check, and we're also going to see what's in the ring.
So
I'm kidding.
Insight. Where is insight? Where are we?
Insight check is
There it is. He's not great in his wisdom. Yeah, he's not really getting very much. He feels. I think he feels very uncomfortable in this sort of situation. He's not used to shiny, happy, clappy, beautiful things. He's lived quite a you know, a not a selfish life, but it's not being
brutal.
Yeah, it's not been great, and he's quite uncomfortable with what he's seeing in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously the others are getting settled. I turn slightly to catch Eldrith's eye and indicate that we should both circle around and just circle around the tree and see if there's anything that we're not seeing from our initial point of view.
Yeah, so you both sort of circle around the tree. Like, you know, roll me perception checks.
I'll do Eldrith
Just
first.
give me one, and then you can have advantage on.
Yeah, I suck then.
It's not, you know, it's not, you don't see anything untoward. You know, you notice, like, Tharvel mentioned sort of there being sort of a blackened tinge to some of the leaves and things. You don't notice any of that. You see just what you see. It's a beautiful sight. You've got the same sort of feeling of security, and you know, you don't see any traps. You don't see anything that sort of would make you feel like there's anything going on.
We circle back round to rejoin the others, but I'm not comfortable making myself conceited, as you can probably imagine. So I just stand nearby.
She turns to you and she says, "What ails you, Lance? What suspicions do you have of this place?"
I have had too many experiences of late of things that look too good to be true and are too good to be true.
She sort of smiles, and a healthy skepticism is a good trait to have, warrior. Keep that. It will serve you well.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Barty will approach and like do a little bow, and just say, "Greetings. We've come to pay our respects, but also hopefully to help restore balance. We've heard that the corruption may have found its way to the enclave, or the balance here may not be as it once was."
She sort of kind of tilts her head slightly and with a quizzical sort of look, and she looking at you, and you sort of she asks you to elaborate.
There is a group known as the Veil of Whispers. I've been conjuring demons using artifacts that once belonged to the Dreamwalkers.
Is it?
Told...
Are you? She says to you. You speak of the Whispering Veil, the artifact that is the Whispering Veil.
Yes.
You know, and she says. She sort of looks at you, and roll me actually. No, I'm not going to make a roll. I'm just going to say. So you feel like you want to sort of explain what happened. You don't. You've within you again. You're not getting this sort of. You're not getting any feeling of mistrust or like this person is out to cause you any harm. You just have this feeling that you want to elaborate on what she said, what you're saying. And what's the score with the Whispering Veil?
Well, it has been recovered and is in a safe place, and we wish to know if it's possible to have it corrected for its balance to be restored. Currently, it appears that it may be corrupted and a danger to the world. We would like to right that wrong.
Yep. You get this feeling that she already knows, and she says, "Brave travelers," and she sort of looks around at sort of Tharaval and Brother Gadden and Lance and everybody who's surrounding her. Says, "Brave travelers, your intentions are noble and your valor commendable. However, the Veil of Whispers is a complex force, intricately woven into the fabric of dreams and reality. It has played a cunning game, fortunately manipulating the threads of fate to draw you to this sacred enclave." She pauses, her gaze drifts to the Alphusis tree, its branches whispering ancient secrets. The veil desired... Sorry.
So Gary, you dropped off after the draw there.
Okay.
Skips a little bit.
Where did I get to?
It's playing a cunning game.
Yes.
And it's...
yeah, the veil. So blah blah blah. It's a dream and reality. It's played a cunning game, manipulating the threads of fate to draw you to the sacred enclave. She pauses, her gaze drifting near the Alphusis tree, its branches whispering ancient secrets. The veil desired to return, not out of yearning for reconciliation, but to wrap its tendrils around the very power that envelops this sacred place. It seeks to exploit the harmonious energies of the Somnian Enclave for its own insidious purpose. Direlia's voice carries a weight of responsibility as she continues. Indeed, the veil must be cleansed and a ritual carried out to restore balance. However, the dangers are formidable, and the absence of the Dreamwalkers leaves us in a precautious situation. As she sort of mentions Dreamwalkers, she sort of looks at Tharaval and sort of and smiles. The ritual requires a delicate touch and the presence of Dreamweavers to guide the energies into a harmonious convergence. She looks at each member of the party with a mixture of hope and caution. The responsibility falls upon you, it would seem, brave travelers, to carry out the cleansing ritual. You must seek out the dormant Dreamweaver seeds scattered within the Dream Gardens. Wrong bit. Sorry, I changed that. It's this bit here. Oh yeah, sorry, here we go. To find the Dreamweaver seeds needed for the cleansing ritual, you must seek the gift of the Alphusis tree. Its essence holds the keys to unlocking the dormant seeds within the Dream Gardens. Drink deeply from the sacred nectar and immerse yourself in the reflective pools with open hearts and minds. Direlia's voice carries with a gentle urgency. But be warned, seekers of dreams. What you experience within these pools will feel as real as your waking world. Dreamscape may tempt you to linger, lose yourself in its illusions, yet remember this: what you witness is but a mirage, and your purpose lies beyond the veil of its illusions. She looks directly into the eyes of each party member, expression being quite firm. You must emerge from the pools, no matter how alluring the dreams and maybe the nightmares may be, for it is within the illusion that the veil seeks to ensnare, and only by resisting the call of these dreams can you find the seeds needed to restore this balance. With a final glance at the Alphusis tree, Direlia imparts the words of caution. May the celestial melodies guide you through the dreamscape, and may you resolve shine brighter than the illusions that seek to entangle you. Seek the seeds, and let the echoes of the Insomnium Enclave guide you on your way.
Oh, Discord keeps on freezing again.
Yeah.
Lost you at Seek the Seeds.
Okay, sorry. Not see. I wonder
it's happening for all of us. Mine's like everybody's freezing on mine. Like,
oh, right, okay, so it's just okay, so right, okay. So where did you get to?
Seek the seeds.
Okay. Seek the seeds. Where are we? Yeah. So it says seek the seeds and let the echoes of the Somnian Enclave guide your way.
Anybody want to get high?
So Tharval, you will obviously understand what the gift of the Alphusis tree is.
I was under the impression that the Alphusis oil was poison.
If you remember your lore behind it, it's sort of it was used as a medicine, but it can be used in great amounts, because you used it to help Danny with Galandra. But if used in great amounts, it can be used as a poison. Because
I think I've actually got a vial of it. That's a vial of the Alphusis oil. Sorry. So I'm assuming that means that we need to drink the sap, so drink some Alphusis oil and go for a swim.
It sounds like it.
How do we get the oil? I assume it's not like tapping a keg, you know.
You'll know about it as well. Being from the same village, you'll know about the sort of the uses of the tree. So you'll know that it can be tapped like a sap. You're maybe not as inclined to want to tap this tree and sort of break its beauty, but obviously Tharavel, unbeknownst to you, does have a vial of said oil.
I look to Tharavel and say, could we have a word? I just indicate to one side.
By all means.
So my understanding is that effectively we need to imbibe the oil of the Alphasis tree. Now, does that mean that we can use what you have, or should we keep that back and maybe see if we can gain some more so that we have some in reserve? I'm concerned that if we can get lost in these dreams, that if we use our supply, we have no way of trying to get someone back if we lose them.
Hmm. Tharavel sort of turns to Dorelia and asks her what sort of amounts of the tree sap would be required for us to succeed.
What do you mean? What do you mean by succeed, Ranger?
As in, like, for what for us to enter this dream world.
Let me just get this. So let me just get this on. So the Alphusis tree is a large, thick trunk tree with swooping reddish foliage found mainly in the Lathian region of Freya. They're revered by many elven families as spirit trees and places of burial for dead ancestors, though the wood is seldom harvested unless felled naturally. Shamans, druids, and elders will though drain some of the sap, also known as Alphusis oil, of tears of the ancestors for medical purposes. The Alphusis is not common tree, and alas becomes less so as corruption spreads. But it is strongly believed the existence and safety is pivotal in the survival of Freya. Its roots run deep through the land, and some even insist its ancestral power that percolates through it feeds the portal of Aberath and its tributary gateways. The Alphusis oil itself, we're seeing behind the screen here, but it is not magic item. That's the life tree, techno medicine. Alphusis oil. Alphusis oil, also known in Tears of the Ancestors, is a sap that comes from the Alphusis tree, found commonly in the southeast of Freya, mainly in the Kingdom of Lathia, blah blah blah. The sap on its own is harmless enough, and has been used for many thousands of years as a cure for bad dreams and insomnia. But when heated and refined using specific chemicals and wildflowers, can be used as commune with the ancestors, or at least that's what is believed. Its communication is real or drug-induced. Hallucinations are hotly debated by this potent substance. So potent, unfortunately, that too much can lead to madness, thustasis sickness, catatonia, and even death. Is therefore used as a poison of sorts by agents of shadow who would seek to pervert the natural properties of their own malevolent. So there's no did, but I can't. They're not written down here. So what I'd say is you, as you're sort of, you will know sort of from within your family that the amount of oil you would need to use to put somebody to sleep. You'd know what to add to it you on its own it will sort of make somebody slightly sleepy. With a few of the wildflowers and stuff that you need, you could potentially make enough for everybody to use it.
Okay. So, based on this, like, Tharavel takes the vial of Alphusis oil from his pack and he sort of holds it out in the palm of his hand in front of Lance, and says, "I believe this should be enough for all of us, with some extra ingredients that we can gather from around here. However, I would suggest that we do this one at a time."
Absolutely. My other query would be, since it is something that you imbibe, would it affect me, or will it be a case of I will be keeping an eye on everybody?
Because you don't have anything. Ooh, how do we get around that?
Would it absorb into his?
You might sort of be able to place it within your vessel, possibly.
It's been resealed though, hasn't it?
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
been
whole point,
sealed.
it's practically sealed.
You here's a good way to get around that. Okay, right. So Darelia sort of kind of looks at you and says, "You do know." She says, "It's your frame warrior is of the dream world, of the life tree. You are created from the Alphusis tree. Your wood is of this land. If you worry about imbibing this liquid, fear not, as it will run through the capillaries of your body as if veins in a capillary system."
It seemed best to check, all things considered, though I don't tend to drink.
So I think that answers our question. Our questions. He sort of turns back to
Arno, I think, is going to be slightly unsure about everything. I reckon he'd be slightly. Can we trust her? You know what? We've been in a situation where everything was fine, and look what happened. We lost Galandra. We lost. I won't let that happen again.
Tharavel, he sort of kneels next to Arno and he puts his hand on his shoulder and he says, "I understand that you've had great loss in your life. There's a lot about you that I do not know, but I've lost friends and family myself. But that shouldn't take away hope from your life. Sometimes you just have to trust and take a leap of faith."
We aren't suggesting that every one of us imbibes at the same time, Arno. This will be a case of we will trust but verify.
I was going to ask about that, my lady. Do we all need to take this simultaneously for the ritual to work and take effect, or can we do this one by one?
She sort of she looks again at Tharavel, and you can see from, actually roll me another perception check. You can all roll me a perception check if you wish.
Okay. Great, because I don't know if I'm good at that. Nope, I'm shite. Perception says. Oh, that should be fine. I got 5.
Okay, so those with the high numbers, Yeah. Okay.
It's-
Yeah. So pretty much everybody bar Art.
Yes.
He's completely oblivious to it. You notice from her that she's struggling slightly, as if holding something back. The sort of, when you mention sort of doing things more methodically, she sort of, you can see a bit more of a sadness in her eyes. Not quite panic, but sort of, and it's slight desperation. Like, she needs you to do this quickly. Um, um, when she sort of replies, she says, "Of course, you must do as you feel you must. I can only try." No, she says, "You must. You can do as you must. Um, I will be here when you return. I hope."
He just looks at everybody else like, so she. Mm, I mean, my intuition says we need to do this all together, but I also don't want us to all get tucked at the same time. So
I get the impression that whatever we do, it should be quick.
exactly. So, and
Tharvel,
who knows how long we could all be.
Tharvel, and obviously beforehand, you've noticed that there is sort of something happening with the tree. It's up to you if you can make two and two together. Saren, you notice now what Tharavol's seen as well, and you notice that because you got a crit, you notice she is struggling. And it seems to you like she's trying to. The meditation, it was just a way to prevent whatever's happening to the tree from coming through.
Tharaval sort of looks at the tree, and he sort of, again, sort of paying attention to the sort of the blackness, sort of spots of blackness are forming in some of the leaves. And then he looks at the sort of roots that are sort of entangled around her, and that the fact that she's sort of struggling, and he drops his head in sorrow, and says to her, "You're holding this back, aren't you?"
She a tear, sort of a single tear, sort of kind of comes down her cheek, and for the first time, that sort of composed serenity sort of dissipates. And she says, "I am all that is left. I can't hold this forever, and with the veil of whispers now here, I don't know how long I can hold it. It seeps its tendrils from that very vessel," and she sort of kind of gestures towards Arno, who sort of kind of recoils slightly as she does. It seeks to take this tree and this place, and if I don't hold it back, I will have lost everything. The Veil Walkers will have won, and this beautiful place and all the dreams will turn to nightmares.
Instinctively, Gadden gets up and looks at Taraval and he says, "Right, how much do I need to drink?"
Um,
Step forward and stand next to him and say, "How much do we need to drink?"
Tharaval sort of, he looks about. He sort of goes over to some of the sort of flowers that are about the place, and he picks some of them. And he puts some of the petals in his mouth and chews them up. And drops them into the vial. And he says, he sort of turns to Dorelia. and says, "We'll do this for you." He kneels in front of her, turns to the others, and says, "No more than 2 drops." And then he pours 2 drops into his mouth, and just sits and waits for the effects, or for the Elphusis oil to take effect.
So you need to do this. Sorry, before you do that, you need to do it in the pools. So you need to go to the pool.
Oh, in the pools.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Just sit there and you be.
So you can actually go into the pools.
You have to go into the pools to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you, she says to you, basically, you need to lie facing up in the pools, submerging within the pools themselves. You take the drops, and you will be submerged. But then, when you come through, you will back up again.
That means somebody has to stay behind and do all of it for us then. No? I mean, unless... No, we can do this. We can do this. Right? And then he just looks at this one vial. How do we
Half
do
of
this?
us will do it. The other half will watch over us. I think Arno should be part of the half that watches.
Okay. I agree.
She, as you sort of discuss it, she sort of, she says, I must leave you now. Please be quick. She closes her eyes and sort of puts her hands out as the roots from the tree sort of create bracelets around her, and she sort of a light sort of kind of blanches off her. The book sort of opens again, and the text within it starts to sort of scroll in a blue light.
I don't think we have much time.
No, we don't. I'll go with
Barty,
Darval.
Well, you and Arno watch over us, and the rest of us will take it. We'll go into the ball.
Okay.
You don't have to if you want to go. You want to do it. It's up to yourselves. You know.
I think Barty would want to do it. I think. Would you need someone with a bit of like arcane knowledge going on this fishing quest?
Yeah, but then that means that there's only 2 of us that technically are. Wait, no, there's 3 of us that are arcane.
Yeah.
Arno, Barty, and then Gadden. But Gadden's
Bear in mind, you do have Ceravel, Eldrith, and
Okay.
fuck. Okay. What else have you got with you?
Leave those squares behind.
Gregor, you've got Gregor. Oh, the ever forgetting Gregor is here
yeah.
as well.
Poor Gregor.
Poor Gregor.
Gregor's the middle child. Everyone always forgets.
Yeah, poor Gregor.
You say that to Math.
Being a middle child.
Math's the middle child.
I know it well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very well. If Eldrith, Gregor, Arno, if you and Ceravel could watch over us, we will all go in and see if we can complete this quest. And if necessary, we will then watch over you if you need to also go. And we will try to deal with this as quickly as we can.
Arno is again still quite sort of uncomfortable with the whole thing, but nods his head in acceptance.
I won't ask you to do this until we have proven if it's safe, Arno.
But he sort of before he roll me a perception check, Tharaval.
Oh.
Yeah. You notice him eyeing the bottle. You notice Arno eyeing the bottle as he lunges for it. Now,
Can I react?
Roll dexterity to see if you roll dexterity to see if you sort of take it out of the way or not. What's his dexterity? like, let me see. Ooh, it's an even.
Ooh.
We'll roll. No, I'm gonna roll again. Roll again. I'm not gonna go for the bonus. Roll again. Okay, you snatch it. You snatch it way before he grabs it, and he goes. I was going to go first. I cannot let you die like the rest of them. He says, "Give it to me. I will be the first to take the oil."
It is not a matter of who goes first. We go at the same time. If
I turn to Eldereth and Gregor and Cyril and say, if Arno is coming with us, can we please ask that you watch over us? I turn to Gregor and kneel down and say, I can't ask you to do this, having seen so much already, but I do ask that you look after us so that we can try and finish what was started by those that have already fallen.
Gregor seems slightly panicked. He's not overly sure what to do. And you can tell he's worried that more of his friends are gonna die.
I chuckle. I put my hand on his shoulder and say, if in doubt, stick them with the pointy end.
Tharavel sort of he sort of looks around and he chuckles a bit and he says, "Friends, this is simple elvish medicine. My brother and myself have seen this used many times before. We will be okay." And he sort of he goes over and he sort of rubs the back of Gregor's head and says, "Worry not, we'll be back."
He
And
says
look,
that's
it's
what
an
Lady
opportunity
that's
for
what
you-
Lady Glandra told me, and he sort of looks at you. Roll me persuasion. You can have advantage on it.
Oh shit! What was that clock?
Yeah, so yeah, he's not fully happy with it, but he sort of accepts it.
So Tharavel sort of, starts to remove his bow and his armor and stuff like that, and he sort of wades down into the water, where Saravel is sort of standing waiting for him. He sort of embraces his brother and puts his head to his forehead and sort of holds him at the back, and says, "I'll see you soon, brother."
He says back to you, he doesn't say anything. He just sort of holds your head a bit longer than before, and then sort of nods his head and sort of gets out and sort of puts his hand on Gregor's shoulder.
So Tharavel sort of takes a couple of droplets of it in his mouth, but he holds it. He doesn't actually swallow it just yet, and then he hands it. He holds the vial out to whoever wants to take it next.
I step forward and take it from him, and I sit in the pool and tip some into effectively my mouth, and then pass him back, and then hold out the vial before I lay back in the water.
I will take the vial next and sort of wade down and just a couple of drops on my tongue, hold out the vial to whoever wants it next, and look at Brother Gavin and say, "See you on the other side, brother."
He He nods, motions to Barty and says, "After you, my learned friend."
Very well. Barty takes the vial, repeats the process, and holds it out for the next.
Tharball looks to Arno. Are you ready for this, Master Dwarf?
He looking quite confident and says, "Yes, I am."
I thought Arno was a halfling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Master Halfling. Yeah.
Get yourself in trouble saying things like that. You know that, don't you?
I'm trying not to be shortest.
So he takes 2 droplets and then passes it off to Brother Gavin.
He's smaller. Does he need to take less?
Oh,
I didn't think this through.
We'll find out.
Balls.
I hadn't thought about that, but good idea.
Shit, I shouldn't speak out loud.
He's going on a trip, and it is a trip.
So Tharavel sort of looks around at everybody and he says, "Sweet dreams," and then lies back in the water. And as he does so, he swallows the oil.
Brother Gavin?
He watches everybody.
And then Tharavel starts going
He just watches everybody sink in.
and looks up and goes, "Just kidding," and then lies back again.
So everybody sort of kind of does it. They look at each other and they lie back. And the water is clear. It's reflective. It reflects the golden sky, and they sort of float on its top. As they do, just what you witnessed before, they sort of lower. They start to sort of sink. You don't see sort of air bubbles coming out. There's no sort of sound of seeing. There's no struggling. The surface sort of seems to glass over. And they disappear. Are you staying put, or are you not? You're not taking it.
So yeah, he hasn't taken it yet. He just looks at he there was something that was niggling at him before he had to leave, and he says, "Good God, a moment," and he pulls out from his pack. What was the name of that weapon? Damn it!
Hithwa's Bane.
Yes,
not Hithwa's Bane. Was it Hithwa's Bane or
no,
Holy Avenger? Holy Avenger. Holy Avenger.
Yeah. So he takes out Holy Avenger and he goes, "Gregor, should shit hit the fan, you're gonna need this."
He looks at you like completely awestruck, and he says, "But this is Sir Valashil's sword. Where did you get it?"
I'm giving you a field commendation. Just for now.
You mean a commission?
A field commission. Well, if you want, that is. But the Legion of Undying Light could use a valiant soldier to defend us in this particularly precarious hour. And your faith was shaken, and you should not be. So maybe the Holy Avenger, held once by Valashul himself, will give you some bravery.
He earnestly sort of drops to one knee and says, "My service will always be with Lady Taunt, but for now it is with you and with my friends."
Oh no, don't ever feel this is shirking your responsibilities to the Empress. This is a service to Bahamut as well. But yeah, shit hits the fan, you're going to need it. And he just looks at the other two and he says, "Not that I need to iterate it as such, but good luck." He hands him the Holy Avenger and he says, "Hey, you'll do well. I see a great night coming out of you soon.
Takes the
take-
sword and scabbards it on his back.
Yay! And then he just looks at the tree and says, "Okay, well, let's do this." A couple of drops, and just plonks backwards into the pool. Doesn't even have any grace. Just watches him.
Okay. Right. So, I want each of you. We will start off. I want each of you to describe their dream. Okay. So we're gonna start off with Darval. We'll start off with yours because yours is sort of in the chat already. But so your dream, as you sort of fall asleep, what do you see?
So Tharaval sort of opens his eyes and he's standing on one of the cliffs overlooking his home village. But it's not as the last he saw it. It's in the future and it's being reinvigorated and it's full of life. All the trees are sort of the leaves are thick and healthy green. The the water flowing from the waterfalls is rapid, and it's sort of casting a spray of water, which is showing a sort of casting a rainbow across the valley, and people are going about their lives, with in happiness. And he sort of he hears a voice calling him, and he turns to see his mother approach him, and she's pretty much glowing, very beautiful, and with a beautiful smile on her face, and she comes up and sort of puts her hand on his cheek and says, "My son," and then embraces, gives him a hug. And as he's sort of embracing this hug, he can sort of see over her shoulder Saravel with his wife and their 2 children playing at the river just at the top of the waterfall, skipping stones. Everything just seems happy.
Awesome. Right. I'll not remember that moment, and then we'll circle back to it. Next up, Barty. You've fallen into your sleep. What is it you see?
So Barty's just sort of like slowly walking through this like opulent, wide apartment, like really fine furnishings. This like just like magical artifacts dotted around the place, like ancient treasures. And he appears like older and wise, but not frail. Like he's gone up on in years, but he appears to be quite content with his success in this like.
Are you seeing these
really
pictures, by the way?
lavish-
Sorry, are they?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Karen. Right.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So he's in this like huge, magical, like opulent lab at the top of a tall tower, looking over Ton and just enjoying his success.
Okay. Next up, where are we gonna go? Lance.
As he lays back and he feels the water closing in about him, everything seems to fade out. And just for a moment, Lance is disorientated. Because as he opens his eyes, he finds himself stood in a room that he remembers but has not seen in hundreds of years. He stands at attention with his sword in his hand, pointed downwards, and his hands rested on the pommel, behind the thrones of the rulers he once served. In the larger of the 2 chairs sits what was once the prince that he'd failed, but now is a wise, mature king with his queen sat beside him. About him, the sun shines through the windows, filling the room with warmth and cheer, and the court is busy. A prosperous land, and apparently he didn't fail. The prince matured and grew out of his childishness and selfishness, and he rose to make the kingdom even more successful and prosperous. And he got to watch and see all of it.
Okay. Vic, you're next, or do you need some time to think about it?
No? Oh, right. So, Saren is suddenly back home in the village where both she and Tharavel grew up. And she's chasing someone. And she's getting closer and closer and closer. And the thought gives her immense satisfaction and joy that whoever she's chasing is about to meet their comeuppance, and it is well deserved. And she's chasing them through the houses, under the waterfalls, across tree branches, that she's gaining on them, and she's getting closer and closer and closer.
Okay. Right. Other Gallon, you were last, so we'll do Arno's. Sort of get his WhatsApp here. Give a... Okay, so I'm gonna have to ad-lib this because he doesn't give me a lot of information on this. Want Arno? Oh no, I haven't done Arno's. All right, it's gonna have to be you, brother Gavin, because I didn't add Arno's.
That's all right.
Yeah, we'll have to add yours, and then we'll do Arno's afterwards.
So, as he slams back into the pool, drowning, at first, his breath plunged and pulled out of his lungs before he emerges onto the other side. And he hears the faint rustling of tall grass, and the kiss of the sun burning ever so gently against his fur. And he sees that the savannah, lush as it once was and still is, sort of, it greets him as a familiar friend. And he hears the sound of children playing in the background, sort of laughing away, with other people laughing. And he turns and he looks to see groups of hunters, other Leonin like him, wearing almost classical armor, looking through the wilderness, things as they should be. He's greeted by other Leonin, familiar to him. They all bear different insignias of different clans, and he stands forward. He's not sure what to make of what he's wearing. It's only something that the leader of their clan would wear, a speaker, somebody with authority, would wear a sort of, I guess, a half cape with an emblem of the sun in gold emblazoned on it. And they all walk together out of the savannah and onto a well-beaten trodden road where they see other people, other familiar faces, clad in gold armor, wearing blue motifs and red motifs, and a sort of sense of familiarity washes over him, and the one most prominent feeling that he has: home.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna go for Arno's. hasn't given me much. I'm just going to ad-lib it. Arno sort of finds himself in a local pub where he grew up. He seems from looking he seems to start his dream looking outward at looking at himself with his brother. He remembers the moment, and it perplexes him slightly because most of his dreams from before this point were to do with Kivi. His life revolved around the deity, around this beautiful creature that gave him his power. But his dream seems to be one of a happy moment him and his brother had, drinking, laughing, telling jokes, at a moment of no stress, no fear of the local sheriffs, or fear of their father's abuse, or sadness because of their mother. They just sits there with his brother, and they drink, they talk, and he feels this sort of deep happiness sort of thriving through him when this happens. Okay, so back to Tharavel. Roll me a roll me a wisdom save.
Yeah, wisdom saves. Oof.
Okay. Your mother, it's not Athlon's your father. What's your mother called?
Oh.
Senway or something?
Fuck.
No, Senway's Fallowshields.
Senway's, I honestly can't remember, actually.
Okay, well, your mother sort of, as she kisses you on the cheek, she says to you, my son, it is, you've, I see you've brought, I see you've brought the meat for the feast. And she laughs, and you look down, and you see a deer that you've recently killed. Bring it to the house. Your father will prepare it. Your father will prepare it, and I will cook it, and we will have a mighty feast. Come. She sort of beckons you towards your old house.
Do I do anything, or
do
I continue with this?
We'll do this. You can interact with your dream. Basically, I'm just going to riff. I'm going to riff off you guys. So basically, it's your dream, so you can make stuff up. You can do what you want to do. Basically, unless I say otherwise, you're embraced within the dream and stuff. So you can sort of carry on.
Okay. So he kisses his mother on the cheek, and he says, "I'm looking forward to it. I will see you there." He shouts to Saravel to lend him a hand, and Saravel comes over, and he says, "We'll eat well tonight." The two of them sort of they tie the tear up and put it on a stick to sort of carry over their shoulders, and start carrying it towards their tree home. Which point they go in, and their father's sitting by the fire, smoking a sort of long pipe, reading some scrolls. He sees he sees the twins come in, and he stands to his feet, and he greets them with a big hug.
standing in the corner, sort of standing in the corner of the house, sort of sitting down, and another character stands up and sort of looks very happy to see you both. He comes over, embraces Ceravel, and says, he comes over and says to you, he says, brother, it is good you returned. You have brought back a mighty feast, it would seem. You look back at him and you see a familiar face. He not as cruel and tortured as once you saw it. Definitely not what you left it at. But in front of you, you see Gilus, sort of with a grin and happiness eyes.
Tharaval embraces Gilus as if it was his brother. And then Gilus embraces Ceravel as well. They all sort of, gingerly sort of laugh and pat each other on the shoulders, and then help to start to prepare the deer for the feast. So they pull it into the kitchen and start skinning it and cutting it up for being put on a spit to be cooked.
Okay.
While their mother sort of preps vegetables, and then Ceravel's kids are sort of running in and around our ankles and just being a nuisance in the meantime.
Ceravel shouts at the little girl. Galandra, leave Val alone, and Galandra, leave Val alone, and she sort of kind of turns around with this sort of very sort of stern face and sort of sticks her tongue out and laughs and then runs off. Okay, so sort of kind of remember where, just in case we cut off and I don't have to remember everything. So sort of keep a note of where you are within your dreams. Okay, yep. So Lance.
Sorry, what was the name of the page? You know, the thing that we used to keep up to date. The web page.
World Anvil.
Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to remember the mother's name.
Okay, so Lance, you're sort of standing next to your king. He is, as you've said, you've seen him grow from a boy to a man, a regal man of stature, of power and of wisdom. Is everything that you could have hoped for. And he turns to you as he sort of turns around to you, and as you're looking out over this mighty crowd, and says, far flung from a far flung what do we want said far from the military camp A, my friend, as he sort of kind of pats you on the side.
I would say less temptation, but I'm not so sure that's entirely true. Thankfully, you seem to have become better at focusing, my lord.
He sort of gives you a wry smile and says, are you trying to imply your king was never focused?
I am merely pointing out that he has learned to choose a smaller number of focuses that have better outcomes, sir.
He laughs, and he laughs, and he sort of stands, and says, this ceremony is over. Let us go and have a drink. I know you don't drink, but I'll drink for both of us for old times.
Very well, sir.
Roll me a wisdom. A wisdom. Okay. Yeah. So you go forth, and you can explain to me what's happening next, if you will.
I nod to the Queen, who remains where she is, and to the other guards, and follow him.
The Queen
through
shouts after you. She says, "Don't let him get into a state like last time, Lance. I'm sick and tired of cleaning up after him."
I will do my best, ma'am.
Okay, carry on.
So we leave via a doorway to one side behind a curtain, and take a passageway back into the depths of the palace. Before we travel, we step through a door that has been that's being guarded by two others, and into a large office with big windows looking out over the capital. As we enter, he walks over to a cabinet to one side by the window, opens it, and pours himself a drink from a bottle that he's removed a jeweled stopper from. He holds it up to the light, a warm amber colour, and goes and sits down and indicates the chair, a rather large chair that has been obviously reinforced, and orders me to sit with him. As we sit there.
Yep, sorry, Karen.
And as I take my seat with him, he takes a sip of his drink, looks out the window, and says to me, "Who would have thought that I would have outrun all my debtors, all my creditors, all the husbands, and somehow become a respectable king? Eh, Lance?" I just nod and say, "It was always one of the martial skills that you had a certain amount of skill at, my lord, due to all the practice you got. And that would be running."
He laughs heartily at your joke and takes a massive glug of his mead as he sort of looks out the window at his kingdom. Okay, so next up, Barty. You were sort of in your apartments, or were you walking through your apartment? Whereabouts are you situated at this moment?
I was just like walking through it, just enjoying the status.
Okay, so you can. There's no other interaction with other people, so you can sort of give me a bit more of what's sort of going on in the stream, if you.
Well, Barty's just had a long and eventful adventuring career, and I think he's found what he's seeking to establish like a new school of magic, or maybe uncover some sort of lost ancient arcane secrets that would elevate him in society, but also to scratch that itch to discover something.
As you're sort of kind of looking and reminiscing and picking up sort of artifacts and sort of remembering where they came from, and sort of going through your sort of catalogs and just sort of being quite content with your shiny stuff, you hear a knock at the door.
I go to answer.
Are you answering, or are you just going to say "come in"?
I'm going to say, "Enter."
You open the door, and I'm sort of sure. Let's see. Have you got anybody in your have you named anybody bar your? So you've got your family. who were sort of booksellers and things, weren't they?
Mm.
So have you got any other named people who sort of interacted with you, or people who've interacted you within your backstory? I'm trying to remember.
No one.
Okay, so
But,
I'll just make something up. Okay, so you open the door and another sort of older gentleman sort of is standing there, looking at you with a sly grin. You don't instantly recognize him, but you realize this is somebody you've known for a while. And he says, "You would not recognize me, Barty? You know, after all of these years."
I'm afraid I have met so many people now. I can't say I do.
He says, your love of the halfling's weed has dulled your mind." But he sort of enters and picks up one of the artifacts and says, "Maybe this will shake your memory." You look at it and you see you see sort of one of the sort of like one of your most cherished sort of artifacts. It's a it's like a tome of sort of a specific magic that relates to yourself and to your character, where you can choose whatever you wish it is. And it belongs to a gentleman called what's he going to be called?
Elias Dooge.
Elias Dooge.
Doge. Doge or
Doge. Okay, Elias Googe. There you go. He's called Elias Googe. Make a note of that because I will forget. He's called Elias Googe, and he was instrumental in helping you find what you sought the most in the world, and is somewhat offended that you cannot remember his face.
Hang on, Elias?
Yes. How you forget me? I don't know how you don't forget yourself. My God.
You've shaved. It has changed your face.
He says, "Yes, yes. The lady doesn't quite like the whiskers as much as she like as you do," and then sort of strokes your beard. She says, "Unfortunately, I can only get away with this cavalier tash now and again, but yes."
Well, she appears to have attacked you with lavender as well, from the smell of it.
Well, you have got to do what the ladies say, So, I see you've got quite the collection here.
Oh, yeah. Just a few trinkets that I can afford to have around me. Mementos and keepsakes, things to study.
Okay. Do you want to carry on from your own sort of steam any part of this, or shall I just sort of make you roll and
Have a roll?
roll me a wisdom check, please. Roll a wisdom save. Ooh.
24.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So you feel yourself outside of your body. You sort of were outside of the body that's in front of you. You see yourself talking to your friend, and you see everything around you, and part of you sort of is completely engrossed in the conversation and the surroundings and the whole thing. It's like it is literally your wildest dreams come true. It's everything that you would ever want, need. You feel it, but you're not there. This isn't you. You realize this isn't you. This isn't what sort of going, and you hear a sort of sound, a melodic sort of song playing in the background.
Oh. Sort of like turn my attention to the song.
Yeah. So roll me a perception, I guess. The song seems to be drifting from outside the door. Coming from outside the door.
Oh, so if it's out of body and like Barty's just chatting to Elias, the one-sided, it'll just sort of like leave the scene almost to explore where this sound's coming from.
Yep. So you sort of take yourself outside the door. It does, it's open, and you go through many winding corridors, and it seems to be coming from your library. What you believe is sort of, is your library, was your library, could be your library. And you find yourself sort of in your body again, sort of looking at all these wonderful books. Okay, so we'll move on from there. Saren. Okay, so you're going through the treetops of your village. Your quarry's in front of you. He's within striking distance. You can feel it. You can feel the sort of elation of being able to finally do what needs to be done. You can carry this on yourself if you want to.
Yeah. So I'm literally chasing him through the treetops, branch, like it's like an action scene. I'm jumping over branches, under branches. He throws something at me, I dodge it. I'm relentless, and this person is going to get their comeuppance, and it is going to be by my hand, and I cannot wait. It has been a very, very, very long time coming.
As you pounce on your quarry, you let off an arrow, and it strikes true into your foe. As it does, you hear this, "Ow! Saren, that really hurts." He says, "You shouldn't be playing with these things. They can be very dangerous." The person in front of you is your father. And you are a young girl, learning to sort of, as he teaches you to sort of go through the forest untold. You say to him, I got you, I win. As you sort of see your father sort of give you the sly sort of like look, and then a begrudging smile as he has being sort of roundly caught by his daughter. He sort of looks at you on one of the tree branches and says, "Come on, girl, let's go then," and sort of kind of helps you down from the branch.
So I follow him, and we walk back towards our house. And we open the door, and my mother's in there, and she's busy cooking something for dinner. So it's not like a very, very well off house, but it's home, and I feel safe and happy and warm.
Your mother says, you sort of kind of go in and says, "I won, Mum, I won," and sort of the father sort of says, "Yes, you did," and the mum says, "Oh, that's good, my love. Now sit down. We'll get some food," and she's like, "Okay, okay." You sort of hear you hear a bit of a commotion outside, and you sort of kind of run to the window, and you see the local rangers sort of getting ready for a an outing. You see a lot of very sort of noble looking, sort of higher born in your, sort of noblemen, all donning armor and fancy bows and not what's the word, cloaks, and you're sort of completely just enamored by this whole scene. Roll me a wisdom check.
Wisdom saving throw.
Yep, wisdom save. Yep. 17. Yeah, okay. You like what happened to Marty. You feel, you see yourself as a child, sort of early teenage years, and you're sort of like on top of the sort of this sort of kind of bay windows ledge thing, and you're looking intently at all of the rangers walking past, ready to go on the mission, and you recognize this as the moment when the Elden rangers left, and the moment close to when the village burned, was set on fire and destroyed. You hear a melodic sound coming from outside of the house, directing you sort of towards the waterfalls.
I follow it because I know that sound was not there when this happened.
Okay, so you take yourself off towards the waterfalls. You sort of pass and you see Ceravel, you see Tharavel, you see their father Athelon marching out. You see others from their party sort of leaving, and you make your way to the Sinway Falls, and not Sinway. What's it called? What were they called? The
Iwenan Falls.
The Iwenan Falls, and you go behind where there is a secret sort of passageway only known to very few. Right. Next up, we have you, sir. Brother Gaddon. You were sort of on the
in the savannah.
In the savannah,
and I've just just emerged from the brush with my hunting party, a group of kids, probably about 3 or 4 of them, and their parents. So we number in about the 14s, and we've just emerged at a well-trodden crossroads, and we're standing up beside 2 other groups of soldiers, both wearing gold, but one with blue motif and the other one with red motif. I'm wearing what appears to be the speaker robes, which implies that I have now become the chieftain of my clan. And so I emerge from the brush, and I look at the 2 soldiers in front with their group of people. They're probably about even numbers as well. So our hunting party went from 14 to probably about almost 40 total. And there's 14 on each side of the group. On the right-hand side, see a very strong woman holding her helmet in her arms. The gold glistening in the sun with the red motifs, sort of like flagging in the wind. And she sort of smiles at me, and I say to her, Taranika, it's been a while, and it's good to see you, and it's good to see your retinue as well. I hope today is the day that you and your ilk win in this hunt. And then on the other side, you see a burly sort of Triton man who is wearing gold armor with blue motifs. He's not sure the name of this chap, so he just sort of looks at him and he says, "I don't think I recognize you, but Scalies don't usually do very well in the sun. Either way, it's good that you're here because we have a Hydractor to kill. And not just any ordinary one either. We have the legendary Polycoranus himself. So, are we ready?" And he looks at the other two. "We hunt them in the jungle, and hopefully we kill them. But just be wary, don't look at its eyes, or spill its blood on you. For you won't be walking away with your limbs if you get more of that acidic blood on you." And he sort of like grins. He doesn't actually have his, well, he has a shield with him, but he has, I don't know what it is. It's like, is it like a scepter or something of sorts? He's not sure. He's just holding on to it. He knows it's something that he knows he's going to use to beat whatever it is by dear life, but he knows full well that he has the blessing of the sun by him, and he can feel it radiating from within him and across him as well.
Okay. Roll me a wisdom save.
Right. Wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, that is a crit. You sort of instantly come from that sort of first person view into a third person view. You see this interaction between you and this unknown gentleman and the rival sort of hunting party. You unlike sort of the other, you know this isn't real, as much as you would probably want it to be real. You know that it is it's all an illusion. You're not fooled by it at all, and you start sort of you because of this, you sort of ignore it. You know it's background noise to you for all intents and purposes, and you start sort of looking around for something. You hear when you're sort of looking around, you hear this sort of melodic tune coming from the undergrowth of the forest behind you.
He looks towards the undergrowth, knowing that's the direction of what would be what he knows as the sun's mirror, a giant lake that's shaped like a sun with rays sort of branching out, but the core of it glistening. And so he kind of ignores the hunt at first, tempted as he is to sort of like indulge in the fantasy of joining his brethren and familiar friends in the hunt. It's almost a bittersweet twang as he turns and leaves. The kid, he thinks at some point there's going to be a child that says, "Where are you going?" but ignores it and continues walking on past the brush and deeper into the jungle until he sees, until he kind of like can hear the sound of the melody, almost as if he's trying to chase the music.
Awesome, very good, very good. Okay, so I'll do Arno's quickly, and then we'll probably call that for day. Just make sure you remember where you ended up at that point, and if you'd passed your test or not, because I will forget. So keep your notes. Okay, so Arno is sort of talking to his brother, and they're having an amazing time. A bit of food turns up and they both eat it. They speak of how they don't speak of their father, and they sort of don't speak of their mother. They just speak of sort of times they had by the local stream, and games that they played, and how how it would be to be young again, and sort of if we had money, what we would spend it on, and lots of sort of dreams within dreams, and where they would go and what they would do and what they would see and what they would do. Gonna roll a for him. So Wisdom, where are we? 14. Yeah. So he just like momentarily, I think he feels like something's up, but then sort of shakes it off. And he downs his beer and sort of orders another from the bar, and he sort of kind of looks sort of longingly at his brother. He feels like he hasn't seen him for a long time, but he knows he has. He knows that he's always been here, so he doesn't know why he's feeling that way. So he goes, I don't know how Arno's. He's like, in a less sort of stern voice, he's like, 2 more beers for me and my brother, and a game of cards. And his brother says, "Oh, go on then." And sort of the lady sort of brings him over sort of 2 pints of mead, and gives them a deck of cards. He then says, "I hope you know how to play Dragon's Gambit still." And he says, "I do. But if you want to lose again," he said, and as he laughs, and he sort of deals the cards out to each other, and they start to play. Not really gambling any money, just sort of playing the game for the fun of it. And that's, I think, where we're going to leave it. It is 11:30, so I think that's probably a good place to have it. Everybody's kept their notes of where they are and what they're doing. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think that went pretty well. I think that did quite good. So yeah. Right. We don't have Conrad again next week, do we? Because he's off in America. So it will just be
Living in America.
living in America. So yeah, we will leave it there. Very good, by the way. I very much enjoyed your little stories. I think that went quite well. So yeah, for tonight, I've been back.
We had what, 12 hours notice?
Exactly, yeah. So I just I had the idea a while back, but I was trying to figure out how I could incorporate it, and then I had a sort of eureka moment last night, and I went, "I'll do that," and then it's just like, so yeah, rats, very good, well ad-libbed.
That was brilliant.
Yeah,
Enjoyed it. Okay.
For tonight, I've been Matt Gary. With me has been Michael Tharvel Eldon.
Good evening, everyone.
We have Jace as Brother Gavin.
Sleep well, my good friends.
Lecky as Bartholomew Pringle.
Good night.
Marcus Lance.
Yeah, later, people.
And Vic as Saren Sanguine.
Sweet dreams, no screams.
Night, everybody. Bye.